Yo, what's goody, fam? Welcome back to the Human Behavior Mastery Podcast, a podcast about leveraging mindset and perspective, psychology, so you could build a better life, a better business, and ultimately a better you. I have a very, very special guest. One, he's from the town, y'all. So you already know the vibe.
Yes, sir.
But I really appreciate, this brother's perspective. I respect what he's built, especially knowing where he comes from. We come from a similar place. And I think he has a lot of wisdom to share. And I want this platform to be a platform where we can enrich our minds more so than anything. And so I have my brother Ash Cash.
Yes, sir.
Brother, it was good.
My guy. How you, man? I'm good, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me. And I'm just here to be a vessel, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're going to cook up.
Yeah,
man.
we got to. So from the moment we met, I was like, oh, yeah, he from the town. Because you could tell there's an energy that we got, you know what I'm saying? So, 129th and 8th Avenue, Harlem, you know what I'm saying?
You already know.
St. Nicholas Projects, we in the building.
We uptown is cousins.
Yeah.
If you're not from New York City, the Bronx and Harlem is like cousins.
Yeah.
It's an uptown
What
thing.
What was it?
Slightly different energy, but very, very much we connected to each other.
100%.
So, yeah, I love it. I want to.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I want to start a Bronx Renaissance.
Yeah.
I'm about to start a Bronx Renaissance.
It's necessary.
There's a the bubble in Atlanta.
Yeah.
We got a lot of magic up top.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, I felt similarly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we in similar circles.
Yeah.
The energy is there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The era is right there. So we could, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think one of the things for me was I didn't see anybody growing up that had my perspective or had my same desire or drive or my hunger for just wanting to go beyond the block.
Yeah.
And, just and getting to know you and hearing your story, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Different hood,
Yeah.
but same mentality.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was very important to no pun intended, to bring you on the pod and just share about your journey and how you got where you are, your thought process, your perspective.
Yeah.
But first, tell me about what's going on with you right now. Where's Ash Cash at right
now? Man, Ash Cash. I'm at a space, man. Growing up in the projects, I did a lot in corporate America. You know what I'm saying? So, we were talking earlier behind the scenes. I've been a hustler all my life, man. Mm-hmm. So packing bags at 8 years old, graduated to being a vendor on 125th Street, Mark 125th Street, selling mixtapes and T-shirts and things of that nature. Did summer youth. Wound up getting my first job when I was 17 years old, working at Blockbuster Videos.
That was my first job.
What?
Say word.
Yo, word to everything, man. I worked at 17th and 8th, man. 8th Avenue in Chelsea, actually. First job at 17 years old. Did that for about 2 years. Got promoted to assistant manager. Wound up having an opportunity to work at a bank, at Chase Bank at 19. And the rest is sort of history for me. Was able to do everything in banking, from teller to personal banker to private banker. When I left banking, I was the CEO of a credit union at 31 years old. So I did everything in banking, killed the corporate game, decided that I wanted to become an entrepreneur. And so in 2009, I wrote my first book called Mind Right, Money Right, 10 Laws of Financial Freedom. Became an entrepreneur, released 14 books, 5 bestsellers. I've sold over 250,000 books as an entrepreneur. Built some pretty amazing things. Been able to generate over 8 figures as an entrepreneur, so over $10 million in actual cash collected. And really, I'm at a space now where I had this saying, right? So regardless of what your religious background is, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Jewish, Christian, all of the ancient scriptures, right? The Bible, the Torah, the Quran, they all say that we are made in the image and likeness of God. And so if God is the greatest, then what does that make us? And I believe that all of us who are on this earth, our only job is to prove God, right? And a lot of people who are born with silver spoons in their mouth, they don't have the greatest opportunity to prove God, because they kind of came into this world with an experience where they pretty much have everything. But a lot of us that have nothing, the only way we can prove God is to show that even given the worst circumstances, we could excel and maximize our full potential. And so I say we are God, right? Little G, greatness on display. And so we gotta make sure that wherever we come from, we show like, yo, it don't matter. Like, I'm gonna show you my greatness. And so now I'm at a space where, you know, they told me I was going to be dead or in jail by the age of 21. By 24, I was a VP at one of the largest financial institutions in the world. You know, so I killed it from a corporate perspective. Then when I quit my job, right, you got to think I'm a CEO of a credit union. Everybody was like, yo, Ash made it. Yo, he the guy, whatever. Now I'm like, nah. You know what I'm saying? What Hov said, I'm so far ahead of my time, I'm about to start another life. Look behind you, I'm about to pass you twice. You feel me? So I like, yo, nah, I'm good. I want to, it's time to, you know, I want to do something different. So I'm getting this entrepreneurship thing. Everybody, my mom, everybody was like, yo, bro, you bugging. Get into entrepreneurship. And then I'm able to, create a 8-figure business, right? Generate 8 figures, right? So I said, oh man. So now that, you know, I'm always going to be an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur in my blood. So that's never going to stop. But now I'm on a different mission where I'm like, all right, bet. You know what you can do for you. Now, what is it that you could do for other people? And again, with that whole concept of being greatness on display, you know, are you doing, right? The Bible says, are you focused on the least of these, right? What are you doing for the least of my people, right? And so for me, I'm like, all right, I know that what I could do, and I know the potential of everybody, because everybody's just a mirror, right? So if I could do it, anybody could do it. If I see you, anybody, we all have the same access. And so recently, I started a nonprofit organization called Abundance Code. Code stands for creating opportunities despite the environment. So despite your environment, it don't matter, you could create, you know, opportunities for yourself. And my goal is to focus on the justice impacted individuals. So this includes formerly incarcerated men and women. This includes the children. This includes the family. This includes everybody who has a situation, because we know what mass incarceration did to our community. But I always look at the silver lining of things, and I think that within that tragedy, there's a blessing in it, and there are millions, right? I think there's over 100 million individuals that are justice impacted, that have been some way have you know, some type of record, felony, something, and so imagine if all of those 100 million people and their families kind of understood how to build a 6, 7, or 8-figure business. And I feel like that's like my mission now. And so that's what I'm focusing on, is really just kind of helping, you know, the least of these. And when I say, you know, the meek shall inherit the earth, when I say the least, I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm just saying that the people who have these situations, who don't even realize that they are greatness, right? Like they are that already. And I wanted to kind of like help teach them how to get to that space of unlimited abundance.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
And I love, first of all, congrats, because I
Appreciate you,
just, this is about to be a bar fest, y'all. I just need y'all to understand. I need y'all to know what's about to happen.
Yes,
if you're from the town, you probably already caught what's happening, but
yes,
it's gonna get ugly in
yes,
here.
Sir. Yes, sir.
But I love the abundance piece.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, one of your mantras, you know, abundance is
Abundance
your
is your
birthright.
birthright. Yes, sir.
Right? And so I identify with that, because I didn't come from much, but one thing I was blessed with, my mother gave me supreme confidence in myself.
Yeah.
I never felt like I was better than nobody, but I never felt like nobody was better than me.
Facts. And that's all you needed.
Right?
Yeah.
And that was it. I was outside like, oh, what's up?
Yeah, yeah.
But I now recall, I identify with what you saying. People like, oh, you bugging for leaving. I remember my first day on Wall Street. I go, I'm working with I'm like direct reporting to SVP. I went to say something. Person was like, I'm speaking. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, listen, very first words, you're either gonna swim or you're gonna die here.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you must think
right.
This is the first challenge I've ever had.
Right.
And I think it's beautiful what you're doing, you know, with the nonprofit and the work and just the journey, because I've always felt like us project babies, us block babies, we have an education that you can't learn in school and you can't get late in life. we can learn what they learn in them books.
Yeah.
But we got something special.
Yeah.
And so just when you were speaking about the, the code and all that, I'm like, I can directly align with that because I've had those moments.
Yeah. And one of the things that people have to realize, especially if you are a block baby and you was outside, basketball saved my life, right? So I was a hooper, right? And so while, I grew up in the late 90s in the 90s where it's like it was going down.
New Jack City.
And what I realized though was because I was going from tournament to tournament to tournament, I stayed out the streets, right?
You have idle time.
Right? I didn't have idle time. But when I was on the block, I had access though. I had direct access to the gangsters. I had direct access to the guys who, I saw my first dead, and I say first means that I see multiple dead bodies.
Right.
I saw my first dead body at 12 years old at the basketball court. Crazy as we were, every time we heard a shootout, you would think we would run away from it. After the gun smoke cleared, we ran to
see what happened.
To see what happened.
Yep.
And so at 12 years old, I saw my first dead body, and being so up close and personal, I've seen people stripped naked. I've seen people pistol whipped.
Yep.
As a kid, though,
seen it all.
And you think about the trauma.
It normalizes.
It normalizes it, and so now in my head, that's my normal. So when I go to corporate America, and I have access to make all of this money, and the worst thing that could happen to me is somebody don't like me.
Or you gonna fire me?
Or somebody gonna fire me. I think that's the worst thing that could happen. Like there's days where there's moments that I didn't know if I was gonna get past the summer. Like we didn't look ahead. We didn't look ahead. We didn't next year. We wanted to get to September was the best time of our lives in the hood.
You made it.
You made it.
Back to the school year.
Back to the school year. And stuff dies down. But when that summer hit, you like, yo.
We was just talking off camera. I said, listen, my children have grown up in a very different environment.
Yeah.
I do not need them to grow up the way I
100%.
did. But if you are from New York City, you know about that one fight in the summer that popped it off.
Absolutely.
And it's like, that's almost like when you think about the NBA, what's the storyline?
Yeah.
That first fight that popped the summer off is the storyline for the summer.
Absolutely.
And everything spills out
from that.
Yeah. And so
cold summer, right? In the words of Fab.
It get wicked. Yeah. And tell me, when was the first moment you realized like, oh, this is where I'm at. I actually don't want to be here. I want something different. Do you remember that moment?
Yeah.
Yo, what's goody, fam? Listen, I know. I'm going to let you get back to the episode, but I wanted to take a minute to let you know about the Human Behavior Mastery course. Yes, we have a course that we put together for coaches, consultants, corporate leaders, and entrepreneurs. I know you're listening to the pod and it's all of this numbers and the adaptive and the natural, the D, the I, the attributes. We put together a comprehensive course to walk you through exactly how to understand each one of the personality types, each one of the values, and we're going to show you exactly how to get the most out of each type. What things you need to avoid, what environments to put you in, and what pieces to put around you to be successful. So if you're looking at taking your business, your life, or your relationship to the next level, make sure you go check out the Human Behavior Mastery course. Back to the episode.
I want to say, oddly enough, it happened. I was in my 20s, and one of my guys just got shot, actually. So if you understand the hood, you know that there's a transition where it's like the young boys and the old heads, and there's a transition for power. Like the young boys want the power. They, you know what I'm saying? And even if the old head is not, and old head in the hood is,
it's 21.
Yeah, it's like a 2-3 year difference. So it's like if you 17, your old head is 21. You know what I'm saying? And so even if the old head not even on it like that no more, but because they have a reputation and they get busy, like the young guy gets stripes.
You get a name.
You get a name off of that, right? So I want to say, how old was I? Probably like 22. I want to say maybe like 22, 23. And at this, I'm working at the bank because I started working at the bank at 19.
One for that, one for that.
One for that, one for them. So I'm working at the bank, but I'm also playing a block. In fact, it's so crazy. because I was making so much money. I'm making like 60K, right? I mean, relative,
In
right?
the hood.
In the hood, that's
you're popping.
I'm popping, bro. So I'm making about 60K at the time. Dodge Intrepids. I had a gold. I had the gold Dodge Intrepid, 20-inch rims. So people actually thought I was a hustler. Like they actually thought I was a hustler.
Getting money, yeah.
I was getting money. You know what I'm saying? So I remember. So I'm playing a block. So I'm hanging with all the drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? I'm hanging out with all the drug dealers or whatever. One of my men. You know what I'm saying? He has a reputation. You know what I'm saying? He got busy. You know what I'm saying? But he's cool. He's chilling now. Like at this age, we think about girls. Like we trying to go to the club, pop out. You know what I mean? We chilling. We not on nothing, right? Long story short, civil war happens in the hood, where it's people in our hood fighting against each other. Now you got to choose sides. Yo, I grew up with you. Now, like, there's a lot
weird.
going on. Weird going on. And one night, and oddly enough, I always played the Avenue with my guy. Always. It was about four of us. We always was like, yo, just on the Ave. 8th Avenue was the spot. You know what I mean? 55th is over. All the traffic come through 8th Avenue.
I already know.
You know what I'm saying? So we was
Zip code.
we was cooking, right? So this is summer night. For whatever reasons, I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? Long story short, my man, like one of the young boys tried to take my man out. Luckily, you know what I'm saying, he made it. You know what I'm saying? But at that moment, I said to myself, Ash, what if you was out there? Right? You got a thriving career as a banker. You still playing 1 foot in, 1 foot out. If you was out there, who knows how it would have went, right? Because number one, who knows? Like, it wasn't as if, my guy was always protecting himself too, though. They just caught him lacking. You know what I'm saying? He just, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they caught him in a way where he didn't expect it, kind of thing. But if he was on it, then the situation would have been different. Yeah. And had I been there, that jam, either way, it would have jammed me up in a way where I wasn't ready for it. And so at that moment, I just had to make a decision. At that moment, I had to ask myself, am I gonna stay with the familiar? Because that's what it was, right? I would leave work in my suit, run through the back of my building so nobody see me, run upstairs real quick, change my clothes, and then come out the front with the, you know what I'm saying? With the Pele on, with the hood regalia.
Yeah, the Wazam or Pal.
You know what I'm trying to say?
You know what I mean?
And I was playing both sides, so I had to make a decision. I'm like, yo, what side of the fence do I want to be on? And I said, yo, you know what? I know how this movie ends. Still, I play star role in Carlito's Way. You know what I'm saying? So I know how the movie ends. So I said, you know what? All right, let me try to see what this other way goes. And that was the moment where I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I'm good. Luckily, I met my wife around that time. And she, you know what I mean? She from Brooklyn, but she lived in the Bronx at the time. And so, you know what I'm saying? So I just started spending mad time in the BX, you know what I'm saying? And the rest is history. She kind of helped, mold me and really see more. Cause I already, you know what I mean? When you from the town, you already think you him. Yeah. But she kind of molded that in a way where, I was able to articulate why I'm him. And, that was the moment that I shifted and I started to just go up.
Shout out to the queens that know how to get us together.
100%. I think that's a cheat code though, right? I think it's the cheat code. I think that a lot of guys out here, who, like we think in our 20s we got to be running around going crazy, and in our 30s, whatever. Like I know grown men who are still trying to figure it out, and they don't realize that a stable home says more about your success than an unstable home. And what I mean by that, it's almost like a hooper, right? Because we could relate to that. The hooper who does all the drills, right? Does all the drills, works out, is always in the gym, is more likely to be a star than the hooper who just gets dressed and just goes out and play ball, right? Why? Because in order to be a star, there's a level of, work behind the scenes.
Yep, discipline, work ethic.
Right? Work ethic, discipline, and that's the key word, is that there's a level of discipline that you have to have in order to still practice when you know you could do 20, 30 points easily. Like you, right? Like don't work until you get it right. Work till you can't get it wrong. That's the difference between a star. Somebody who's just an average ball player will get it right and think they ready. The person who is a superstar, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, they don't do it till they get it right. They do it till they can't get it wrong. So there's a level of discipline that comes with that. Well, getting the right woman, the right partner by your side, it takes a level of discipline to be able to maintain that.
Yes, it does.
Right? Because, I mean, it is what it is. I've been getting money for a very long time. And with money comes power. With power comes women. And if you're not disciplined enough to say, yo, that's the one. I don't care what none of y'all doing. That's the one. And you're able to focus on your significant other and give them what they need so they could give you what you need. It takes a level of discipline, but that discipline pays off tenfold, right? Because me being a CEO of a credit union at 31 years old is not happening without my wife, us having conversations, her guiding me where I need to go. You know, me writing books and being an independent author and selling 250,000 books and, making, millions of dollars as an entrepreneur. That's not happening without my wife supporting me and, helping guide me. Like, there's not an idea that I have that I don't run by her. And she's the one that says, I like that idea, but how about you do this? Like it's almost like, enhancement. Yeah. Right? Like it enhances my idea. It enhances what I do. And so having that right person by your side is definitely a cheat code.
It's like Shark Tank at the crib.
100%.
And that, I think that it's so interesting, right? And I think about the environment. And it's almost like back home, you got old heads and OGs that love you. They trying to give you game, but they might not be giving you the right game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because you hear men on this side say, lock in with one woman.
Right.
That might be the best advice you could give a young guy.
Right.
But it's counterintuitive to what we see and what we experience in the hood. You don't get to know that until you have the experience.
Yeah.
I had somebody tell me, I ain't gonna say who.
Yeah.
I had somebody tell me, yo, I got a ring and I put it on when I go to business meetings so that.
Yeah.
And I was like.
Yeah, 100%. Because
psychologically it communicates something to people.
Absolutely. And it shows stability, right? You think about the reason why, if you think about most billionaires, they're married. Yep. Right. And it says something also because when you're in a room with people who are putting either their capital, whether it's a partnership, whatever it is, they're putting a lot on the line to do business with you. Without you being married, it doesn't show stability in your house.
Certain level, skin in the game.
Right. And so now, you know what I'm saying, you become a liability. Like some business people, you become a liability to them if you're not stable. Like to the point where a lot of, I know for me, like a lot of wealthy people that I've had conversations with, they're always asking about my family first. They're always asking like, so somehow, some way, the conversation about family comes up.
Has to.
And I believe that it's about that stability. Are you stable? Are you, and the truth is, is like, it makes it difficult, right? If you're spending a lot of time with somebody and they're not married. So I'll say this because I'm not bashing single people. I'm not bashing people.
It's just different.
It's just different because if you got to think when somebody's single and they're doing business with another single person, there's a level of grind, there's a level of grit, there's a level of not caring that comes with that, right? Like you could let your hair loose, you could go pop bottles, there's certain things you can do that you're not doing if you're married. Right. And so it makes it a little tough when you're a married person doing business with a single person and then having that, like there's things that they just don't understand, right? There's sacrifices that a single person is willing to make that I necessarily can't make or I don't want to make. You get what I'm saying? And so there is that fine line of, having, like, knowing, all right, you single, so you got these rules that you abide by. I'm a married man. I got these rules that I abide by. And ultimately, as you get higher and higher, up the success ladder, you're going to realize that the majority of people have some type of stable situation.
Oh, yeah. You can't be the president
without being married. Yeah.
Not happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Not happening. Yeah.
You gotta have a first lady.
Yeah. And so I
don't care who you are.
Right.
Figure it out before.
Facts. 100%. Look, if you know, you know. Figure it out.
One of the other things I can identify with, and this sort of is a trampoline into people's trajectory in life.
Yeah.
The duality of, okay, I'm working a job or I'm doing this, but I'm anchored into the hood. That's my my comfort.
Yeah.
It's what I know.
Yeah.
And developing, like, seeing the outside world and seeing that people think and move a different way and starting to develop those skills, but you still speak the language. How do you feel like having that duality or being able to have a street savvy translates into, doing business? Because and I'm asking you specifically because there's a little us in the hood right now that's watching this, and they don't see how to math or why it's important.
Yeah.
Right? One, to get different experiences, get exposed to different things.
Yeah.
But also how you could take the same energy and same skill that you deploy to do something negative to do something fruitful.
Yeah.
That'll multiply for you and your family.
Yeah. In the words of the Honorable Sean Carter, man, you could try to change, but that's just the top layer, fam. You was who you was when you got here. What I want people to realize, so I give you a quick story. So how old was I? I probably was probably early 20, like 2021. I was selling mixtapes, and what I was doing was me and a bunch of guys, we put compilations together. We would go to different hoods in Harlem, and we would get like different rappers or whatever who's hot in their actual block, and we put them in a compilation, right? Fast shout to Hell Up in Harlem. It was the DJ Get On Up, right? So we was doing that, right? So I remember one of my guys that I was hanging with, he's a gangster, like he just oozed gangster. And I'm chilling with him one day, and I got all these CDs in my hand. I'm like, the best way we could get them off is just go to the barbershop. So I'm like, I bet I'm gonna start with my barbershop. So I go to my barber, I walk in, and I asked him, I said, yo, you know what I'm saying? I got this project, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm explaining to him everything, blah, blah. And I'm like, yo, can I, I'm asking him, like, yo, can I leave some, blah, blah, whatever. He like, nah, I'm good. And I'm like, I bet. So I walk out. So my guy sees me. He's like, yo, why you got them CDs in your hand still? I said, yeah. He said he was good. He's like, give me those. So he took them, and then he went in the barbershop, and he put them down on the counter. He told the barber, he said, yo, I'm gonna leave these CDs right here. They $10 a piece as people are walking in and out. If they see the CD and they want it, just get the $10 or whatever. I'm gonna break you off $2, and then I'll just come back later, and then let me know how they do. And then he walked away. I said, yo, how you do that? He said, they used to call me Masher. He was like, yo, Masher, do more telling, less asking. He said, do more telling, less asking. I said, oh, word. So fast forward, I get to the bank, and it always stuck in my head, do more telling, less asking. And so now I started testing out both. I'm sitting with a client. The client wants to open up a bank account, and I'm like, oh, I'm out. Do you want a bank account? Nah. Do more telling, less asking. So now I'm listening to them, I'm talking to them, I'm seeing what their needs are, and I say, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna open up a checking account, we're gonna give you a savings account. It comes with a credit card, it comes with this, because based on your needs, this is what you need. All right, here's the paperwork, sign right here for me. All right. Later on, I realized that's called assumptive selling. And so in the hood, my guy's calling it do more telling, less asking. That's just the gangster way of doing it. But it's actually a methodology called assumptive selling. And so the same skill that it took to sell CDs, right, is the same skill that it took me to make hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank because I was doing assumptive selling. And so I tell people who are from the block that you don't know what you don't know. right? And so the only reason you don't believe that your hood skills are transferable is because people are lying to you, right? People are telling you got to change who you are in order to, get ahead in life and things of that nature. And you've never been there, so you don't know that that's a lie. And so what you have to do is just be willing. That's all. Be willing to have a dream and be willing to take the first step. Be willing to get uncomfortable. Be willing to look stupid. Be willing to not know. My first day that I walked into the bank, my shirt, I didn't know that you have to be able to put just one finger. That's it.
Yep.
Anything more than one finger is you doing too much. So my shirts was baggy. My suits was too big. I talked in street vernacular. Nah, I mean, everything with nah, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Come from the hood.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I had to. It's all right though. I did what most people wouldn't do though. I got uncomfortable. I got into the environment and I was able to see, right? One of my books, Mind Right, Money Right, 10 Laws of Financial Freedom, I have this concept called see more, be more, which means that the more you're able to see, the more you'll be able to be. And so for me, I had to put myself in an uncomfortable position in an environment that I don't know so I can see how people operate in that environment. Yep. And I'm not being them, right? When I now adapt that environment, I'm being me within that environment. So now I'm learning, okay, bet, this is how you do this, all right, bet. So let me add the Ash Cash flavor to banking. And that's how I got successful. Let me add the Ash Cash flavor to entrepreneurship. And that's how I got success. I've never gotten into anything and tried to be somebody else. All I want to just give me the rules and I am going to bend those rules to my favor.
Yep.
And that's what anybody who come from the block, that's all you got to do. Go to an environment that you want to be in, learn the rules, and then bend those rules to your favor in order for you to thrive. There's
no competition when you're authentic.
None at all.
There's none.
Yeah.
And I love that. I realize it's a universal truth because you said see more, be more. Yeah. Possibility is my currency.
Facts.
I'm a possibilitarian. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of what drives me is showing kids that look like me that come from where I come from what's possible.
Yeah.
Through the way I live my life.
Yeah.
Because I can't give it to you, but I can model what it looks like.
Greatness on display.
You know what I'm saying? Bingo. Right? So it's going to be me and my flow and my speed, but I'm showing you that you could win and you don't got to play ball.
Facts.
And you don't got to hustle.
Yep.
Right? You don't got to be a Uda or nothing. You could really figure out if you like games.
Facts.
Do your thing. In the hood, we got the most beautiful, brilliant minds. It's just we locked in this cage.
Yeah.
Right? So I've always just had this fascination, this curiosity, and just I don't care about what nobody think about me. Let me just go. So even with language, right? People yo, why you talking like that? Or why are you using dictionary words? It's nah, I got a command of the English language.
Right, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's cool.
Yeah.
You should probably.
And it's a blessing to be able to switch out of it whenever you want to.
Listen, gotta have a right hand and a left hand.
Always. Literally, right. I'm talking about right at this very moment. If you put me on any hood, anywhere, I'm good. And right now, at this very moment, you take me and put me in any boardroom, anywhere, I'm good.
Yeah. And you know, you recognize what it is when you get in those spaces.
Yeah.
You know how to adjust. So even the first time we chopped it up, it was a bunch of people and it cool. The moment it clicked to both of us, he from the town.
Right. It switched. Immediately. We was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You play ball.
Yeah.
I said, tell him I went to the race.
Right.
He said, nah, that's...
Yeah. He's valid.
You just know what's up.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like that in the world.
Yeah.
You don't have to have the understanding, but your people and the things that's on your frequency are naturally going to be attracted
100%,
to you. Right?
100%.
And so you say see more, be more.
Yeah.
The way I articulated from my lived experience was awareness breeds choice. You can't choose something that you're not aware of. Right?
It's a bar.
Your life is a reflection of the choices that you are making.
Yeah.
And those choices are based on the choices that are available to you, that you know of, but it doesn't represent all the choices that exist. So what I tell people is your dream life is out there. You just haven't come across the option to choose it.
Facts.
And that's why exposure is important.
Facts.
Right?
Yeah.
So to see more, be more is the equivalent to that, but it's a universal truth. You feel
Absolutely,
what I'm saying?
100%. Yeah, and because that's the thing, like you said, like you can't choose what you don't see, which is why I feel like there's an obligation, right, for people who come from where we come from to show, right, to display that greatness. Because, you know, if you only showing people from where we come from, the only way to be successful is to play ball or rap, which are the most, it's like winning the lottery, literally. And so if all of our young people are focused on winning the lottery, when there are tech jobs, there are banking jobs, finance, like there's so many things that we could do within the world that could help us make hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. We just need to see the possibility, and once we see the possibility, then
and this is stuff that we already know.
Yeah,
you got in the hood, you got a loan shark.
Yeah.
You work downtown, you work in finance, you understand there's lending companies.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
If you know what I mean? If you getting money and people put points on something,
right,
you understand what interest is.
Facts, 100%.
It's transference. It's the same thing. And once it clicks and you realize like, oh, I knew I had a competitive advantage when I was down there. I was going crazy. It was like, yo, who is this youngin' walking around? You know, so I had to adjust with the suit.
100%.
I also would say that was an easy transition because I went to the Rays, so we had to dress
you're ready.
up. It was just a matter of, you know, the polish,
right?
And once I hit that stride, it was over.
Right?
So the you were talking to me about the work that you're getting into, with recidivism, and I think that's amazing. It's something that impacted my family, and a lot of families that I'm connected to, I've done some work adjacent to it, and when I got introduced to it, I realized like, oh wow, like this, you get a stamp on you, it can really change the trajectory of your family.
100%.
So many people's families get affected when one person go behind the wall. So talk to me a little bit about how you, like, what inspired you to get into the work, and then some of the things that you're working on right now.
Salute to the family, Tiffany and Kevin Childs. If you know, you know.
Yes, sir.
If you know, you know.
Yes.
So back in 2008, actually, right? 2008, 2009, Tiffany and Kev, they had a magazine called the Don Diva magazine. And a mutual friend introduced me to Kev. And at the time I was just wanting to get into like writing and becoming an author. And so I was just looking for any way to get my word out there. And so because it was a popular hood magazine, somebody introduced me to Kev, spoke to him and Tiffany, and I was like, yo, I want to do a column in there. So I did a column called Ask Ash Cash. I had a column inside of Don Diva magazine called Ask Ash Cash. And I was just giving financial advice every month, financial advice. And then I would put my book on the back of the magazine so people could buy my books or whatever. And so they had the sticky pages and all that stuff. So if you know, right? Sticky pages, right? And so while it was really going, the circulation was big in the hood, it was also big behind the walls because of the sticky pages. And so from that, my book started to sell out nationally behind the wall. So I'm getting letters on my P.O. box, people ordering books, things of that nature. Fast forward, they stuck with me, right? And so we're talking 14 years later. I literally still get bunch of letters from people behind the wall, telling me how they read my book, how it was powerful. And you got to think about it. I got 14 books now. And so now they have a library full of them. I remember this one story, fast shout out to my brother Keedron Brewster, Bossman Brewster out of Texas. My guy Keedron, we was together here in Atlanta. And one of his guys from Texas called him. He was doing 24 years. And he called him, and he was talking to him, and Keedron was like, yo, you're not gonna believe who I'm with. He was like, who? He was like, yo, I'm here with Ash Cash. He was like, nah, you're not here with Ash Cash. So that, mind you, this is a guy who's behind the wall 24 years. And he's like, nah, you're not there. So I'm like, yo, peace, King. He like, yo. And he started telling me how I have a book that I wrote called The Wake Up Calls based on Jay-Z's 444 album. Yeah. He was like, yo, the wake up call, da da da. And so it was moments like that, right? It's getting Quora links, emails, right? Yep. So that's like a correspondence with inmates, getting letters from inmates, meeting people who come home who tell me, yo, I was behind, I did 10 years in the feds and I read this book and that book. Matter of fact, shout out to my brother Andre Norman, went to Fulton County Jail. I kid you not. Went to Fulton County Jail. Wallow was there. Shans was there. We all went and we was supporting. Yo, one of the inmates saw me and he said, yo, I got your Nipsey Hussle book. He went to his cell, came back, and I signed the book for him.
Oh, that's love.
You get what I'm saying? And so I was seeing all of that, and I was like, man, like there's so many people that relate to me who are behind the wall, because I am them, right? I've never done any physical time behind the wall, but I've done time behind the wall.
Yeah, if you got somebody behind the wall,
you done time. You know what I'm saying? And so we're the same. And so I talk in a language that they understand. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know what? I need to be more intentional. And so as I started to look, really, as I started making a lot of money, right? And let's just be honest, making a lot of money ain't all what it's cracked up to be.
It's not, but you know what I realized?
Yeah.
You don't realize that
until you start making money.
You got to go through the process 100%. Of making the money, and then you have that. Everybody knows that moment where you check the account and you go, and then you like,
that's it? Yeah. And so for me, I was at a space from a success perspective that I checked every button that I ever wanted to check. And corporate check, entrepreneurship check, car check, house check, kids in private school check. So I've done materially everything that I aspire to do. And yeah, obviously there's more stuff, right? Mm-hmm. There's always a bigger house, right? There's always a faster car, more expensive car. There's always more. But for me, what I desired, I've checked all, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want much.
You want your race.
I drove every car, right? Like, I'm cool, right? I want my race. So now,
some nice cooked food.
Some nice, you know what I'm saying? Damn, little man. I'm just trying to do me, you know what I'm saying? And so for me, now as I look at life, I'm saying to myself, man, like what is it? What's next? Like what am I gonna get the level of fulfillment, right? And this work is what is that next level. It's like Chinese food, right? And all my real rights know that. You hungry and you starving and you go to the Chinese store and you buy some food. 2 hours later, you're still hungry.
That's a fact.
Because it's empty calories, right? You eating, but you're not really nourishing your body, so you don't get full like you would if you ate a healthy meal, 3-course meal, 5-course meal, right. that is balanced in the nutrients that you have. And so the same thing with money, right? You're eating, but you're not being nourished. That's a bar, yo. That could have been a rapper. Yeah, that's a bar, right? You eating, but you're not being nourished. And so how do you get that nourishment? That nourishment comes from helping others. Right? That nourishment comes from helping others see, who they could be, help them maximize their full potential, right? Knowledge is the one thing that you could give away without losing anything, right? I don't lose by helping others. And so now this journey of my life is like, all right, I'm getting the signs. I know they connect with me, but are you being intentional? What could you do intentionally to help that population see their greatness and create other, multi-millionaires, in our space, and that's the mission that I'm on.
Yeah, I love that. I think one of the things that I appreciate about the work that you do is it's so culturally relevant.
Yeah.
Like everything that you do is something that connects to the roots.
Yeah.
And I think it's important because I believe that there's a group of people that only have an ear for you.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
We could say the same thing. Somebody's going to identify with you. Somebody's going to identify 100%, with me.
100%, yeah.
And so I think about, I wouldn't say me because I've always been a very voracious reader. I love to read. Mm-hmm. But so many of the people that I grew up around, loved ones, like, they be like, yo, bro, like, why are you reading so? I don't watch TV. I love to read, though.
Yeah.
I get excited going take me into a bookstore.
Yeah.
Show me a good time.
Yeah.
Right? But they like, oh, what's that? It isn't until I read it and I explain it to them and they're like, oh, all right, cool, right? Or they hear Nip talk about Contagious.
Right.
And it's but I love how you package it in a way.
Yeah.
It's like you put the medicine in the candy.
That's the thought that was in my head. Yeah.
You put the medicine in the candy and it's like, I see what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that because we really need, whether we free on the outside or we behind the wall, we need, however we need to get it into the hands and into the minds.
Yeah.
Like we need that.
Yeah, because you know what I think? I think that people forget where they once were, right? And so for me, I consider myself an enlightened being, right? I'm very self-aware. I'm aware of energy, what's around me. I'm a master manifester. Anything I decide that I want, I put in my head, I can have it in real life, right? But I also remember the times where I wasn't that. And a lot of times when we get to certain levels, because we forget, we try to have people see what we see at the level that we're at, right? It's almost like a giraffe and a turtle. A giraffe paws based on the length of his neck.
The vantage point is
right.
different.
The vantage point is different. So the giraffe could see where the turtle, their vision is limited. And so in order to be able to, help a turtle, you have to speak to them at the level in which they are first. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, it's really just understanding that, all right, I know where y'all are because I was there before. And so, like you said, put the medicine in the candy. What are you listening to right now? What has your attention right now? And how can I add what I know you need within that? Right. And so if you listen to rap music, I bet I'm gonna write a book about finance. I'm gonna put in the rap music and using rap. Yo, you know how many people came to me and said, yo, they never read a financial literacy book ever in their life until I wrote the Jay-Z 444 book.
Yo, listen.
It's crazy.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's when I knew. I remember the first time I heard 444.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, this is not a Jay-Z album, this is a Sean Carter album.
Facts.
Right? I sat in the bed. I was going through my divorce. I sat in the bed and the first thing I was listening to was Kill Jay-Z. Mm-hmm. Just the mentality.
Yeah.
Of the ego versus and then you listen to the artwork of starting with Kill Jay-Z and then he gets to this is whole
right,
like pretty Sean Carter,
right,
and the duality of ego and how it and like I'm like, yo, that is besides Reasonable Doubt my favorite Jay-Z album.
100%. Yeah,
and you wasted no time.
Yeah, none.
No, I felt like y'all both released it. I thought y'all released the album and the book together. I was like, yo, Ash got a book out 3 weeks later.
Crazy. Let me tell you though, I literally listened to the album, right? I know that I know the date, June 30th, 2017. Yep. At midnight, I was like waiting.
I'm listening to it.
And I'm listening to this joint, and everybody was fascinated at, he talks about the elevator fight. He talks about cheating on Beyonce. That's 20% of the album. 80% of the album, he's talking about home ownership. He's talking about generational wealth. He's talking about credit. Legacy, right? And so as I'm hearing all of these financial lessons, right? Like that's what that album was. It was a financial lesson, but I felt like he told us the what, but he didn't tell us how. Right, he told us we need to own a home. He told us stop spending money in a strip club. He told us, you know what I'm saying, like to the difference between a will and a trust and building legacy. He told us like all these things. He's telling us about creating multiple streams of income, merrily eating off these streams, right? But how do you do it? And so for me, I am hip hop.
Got it.
I am a financial educator. I got it from here, yay, damn, right? I got it, Hov. Mm-hmm. I got it. Like you threw the alley. And then honestly, it didn't even really start as a book though. It started at the time I was doing a lot of speaking engagements at colleges. So it actually started as a workshop. I was just going along doing workshop at different doing workshop at different schools and stuff like that. So that was easy for me to put it together. And then once like students were like loving it, they was like, can I get the slides? Can you explain this a little more? And immediately it was like, oh, this needs to be a book. And you know what I'm saying? I just put the metal to the pedal.
I was like, yo,
you know what I'm saying?
I was like, yo, he don't miss.
Yeah. Yeah, and the crazy thing, and this is like, I don't really talk about this too much though, but the crazy thing about it is that I didn't think it was going to take off like it did. So here's a little known fact. If you go to Google right now and just Google the Wake Up Call or Google the 444 book, you're gonna see two covers, right? Because
I see where you're going.
Jay-Z's 444 album was this beige cover, and it said 444 on it. That's it, with a parental guidance thing. Bet. So in my mind, I'm a business guy. I'm like, oh, I can write a book. I'm gonna make it same color.
You thought.
I'm gonna put 444 on it. I'm gonna put a parental advisory thing on it, and I'm gonna be good because I know copyright law. You can't copyright or trademark a number. So I said I'm good. And it was just gonna be, pay homage to Hov. The book took off, you know what I'm saying? Like to the point where, I was in Money Magazine, Yahoo Finance, Billboard, Rap Radar, like you name it. Like there was not the Source Magazine. There was not one media outlet that did not cover my book. To the point where I went crazy with it. And for me, what made me change the cover was people from, here's the other thing. And it's marketing, right? So I ain't doing it, you know what I mean? But the other thing though is too, is salute to Rel, salute to Memphis Bleak. I did an interview. They had a podcast. They had a pod. So Bleak, Brian Axelrod, and Jay's nephew Rel had a podcast called Do Say Fridays, right? At Rock Nation or whatever. And so I had a connect who put the dots together and was like, yo, I want to interview you on the book. I said, oh, bet. So, I got my Paper Planes hat, I got my Rock Nation hat on.
All that.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to take the picture in front of Rock Nation. So I'm like, oh, I got my Rock Nation
Go
picture.
Couch Fives.
Yo, you know what I'm trying to say? And so I go in there, they interview me, interview does well. And then I started getting, not hate, but like people were like confused. Like, is this a real, right?
Connected to the
Is it
actual
really
project?
connected to the actual project? And me understanding business, I was like, nah, I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? Let me change this cover so that way there's a clear distinction between Jay-Z's album and my actual book.
Right,
you know what
I
I'm saying?
got
So I changed the cover. So the cover's black and gold now. It says the Wake Up Call, and it still does numbers. So it didn't really change my sales or anything like that. But out of respect for, you know what I'm saying? Like, how J. Cole be like, yo, I can't believe I let Nas down. Like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to let Hov. Yeah, I want to let Hov down. So I was like, all right, let me change this.
You got to get that in the Book of Hov Museum, bro.
Yeah, it's funny because I haven't been there yet, but it's gonna close December 4th, so I'm on my way.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying?
Come on.
Yeah, I got to.
You that's
Yeah, I have to.
That's a pilgrimage.
No, 100%. I have to. Yeah. And the thing for me though is, can I say this on camera? I don't know if I can say this on camera. I don't know if I can say this on camera.
Do your thing.
Sheesh, should I say this? I don't think I'm gonna say it. I'll tell you about how to say it.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I'll tell you about how to say it because there's certain things that you want to keep sacred.
Of course.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna say this.
you.
Yeah. But that experience though, I'll say this though, that experience of whether it's a real connection or a vicarious connection to somebody who raised me, because I've been listening to Jay since I was 15 years old, right? And so you got to think, so I've been listening to Jay since 15. What was I? Was 37, right? So you talking 22 years.
Grew up together.
Right? 36, right? So you're talking about 21 years of listening to this man and now having a semi-connection to him and somehow, in some shape or fashion, it was a blessing that,
Nah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Chains is cool to cop, but more important,
lawyer fees. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. My favorite part of the project, even outside of the album, was the footnotes.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%.
You just did some footnotes.
Yo. I mean,
you get that.
What year? What we in 2023? Who knows? I mean, 4 years from now, see where I'm going. 4 years from now, it's the 10-year anniversary of the 444 album. You know what I'm saying? In 2023, I'm a little more connected than I've ever been in my life.
You know what I mean?
So as a master manifestor, who knows? Who knows what could happen in 2027 in God's will?
Hey, listen, Hov, by, you know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Who knows?
So the work with recidivism.
Yeah.
What
look, not to cut you off, but cast a parallel. InvestFest 2023. I introduced my Abundance Code nonprofit organization. Mm-hmm. Who did I partner with? I partnered with Reform. Right? I partnered with Reform. Salute to everybody there. Britton, Kenny, Robert Rooks, who's the CEO, right now, and we're talking behind the scenes, doing some stuff. I got an opportunity to interview Shine. There. I put a beautiful panel together. But we've been talking about doing some work together, and so it's like a full circle moment. And it's just kind of showing that there are people already doing the work, but there's a level of value that I could add as a financial educator to the work to help that population get to the next level.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah.
I think, again, I've seen it. I won't say who, but I have family members who did time. You know what I mean? So I've experienced what it's like to do time with somebody.
Yeah.
What it does to a family. Yeah. And then just to transition back into society and all that.
And oddly enough, and I'm sure, I hope she's okay with me saying this, but my children are products of, my wife's dad is in jail. Mm. And so even though I've never been to jail, my wife's never been to jail, her dad is currently in jail. And so birthdays, right? We got to send those video mails, to someone that's incarcerated. So there's still this level of I'm still affected by it directly too. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So yeah.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, the work. We need everybody. There's a seat at the table for everybody.
100%.
And we all, I think that's the, it always makes me think about the one hand wash the other, both wash the face kind of thing, right? So. Yeah. I love that work. What are I know you announced it at InvestFest, but what is the core initiative, or what's the piece of it that you focused on right now?
Yeah.
And how can people learn more about it, get connected to it?
Yeah. Just go to abundancecommunity.org. That's our official website. So the goal of the Abundance Code is, or did I say abundancecommunity.org or
Yeah.
Abundance Code? Go to abundancecode.org because Abundance Community is my other community. So abundancecode.org, and that's our official website. But abundance, the goal of Abundance Code is to really, number one, provide a curriculum, right, for formerly incarcerated men and women and those who are impacted, right? So I say justice impacted individuals. So really giving them a blueprint on how to get back on their feet financially after they come home, right? That's number one. But number two, it's also being able to identify people who are or were formerly incarcerated and have built 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses, and connecting those people with together. And so I call them abundance coaches, right? And so now, not only are we going to give you the roadmap, this curriculum, we're also going to give you like an accountability partner, right? An abundance coach who is going to be connecting with you and really kind of guiding you, because they've been where you've been before,
like that.
right? And then I'm in talks right now with Operation Hope, and they're like the Walmart of financial literacy,
yep,
right?
Yeah.
And they have a lot of partnerships where they're in banks, they're in schools. That's actually how I got my first start in 2004 through their Banking on Our Future program. Operation Hope Banking on Our Future program
word.
was the first time I've ever taught financial literacy in inner city schools. And so I started with them. Again, another full circle moment, right? You know, salute to John Hope Bryant, who's now a mentor to me. It's actually his idea, like his inspiration, that made me want to start this nonprofit. But I'm in talks with them now to try to figure out a partnership where those who are coming home can be assigned to a Operation Hope advisor who can help them. They help with first time home ownership. They
got all sorts of everything.
They have this initiative where they're helping create a million black business owners. So they have a lot of initiatives in which my organization wants to plug into. And so we're trying to figure out the particulars, but ultimately the goal is to give, those who are formerly incarcerated access to the information to learn how to become financially free, access to, a community of accountability coaches who can help them, and then access to real tangible ways that they can, build wealth. And then the show is about human behavior, right? And human behavior always defaults to what it knows. Yep. And that's why we have a big problem with recidivism, because when guys come home, women as well, when they come home, they revert to what they know. They try, to go on the straight and narrow for a little bit, but when things get tough, they revert to what they know, and that's how they get back. Mm-hmm. But what we want to do is we want to change that human behavior. We want to give them access to people that they're familiar with through the abundance coaches. But now, instead of leaning back to your support system, which is the block, which is convincing you to go in a different direction, lean on us as a community, so we could tell you, nah, fam, this is how you're going to do it, and give you that support system so that you don't have to, look back. You can only, move forward.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I ask everybody, before we wrap, if you could give somebody one mindset, one perspective, right, to forward them on becoming, in your terms, the most abundant version of themselves.
Yeah.
What would that be?
I got two, but I'll give you.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the first one I would say is to become who you are. Right. And what I mean by that is a lot of us in our environments, in our teachings, and everything we were taught was about doing, right? Grind hard, go to school, like do this thing. And if you do this thing, you're going to have this result. But the truth of the matter is that it's be, do, have.
Yep.
Right?
Universal truth.
Be who you are. And in your being, when you accept your greatness, when you accept, like, in everything you do, there is this common denominator, right? Like, I am inspiration and motivation. It doesn't matter where I go, I'm going to inspire and motivate somebody. I go to the supermarket, I'm inspiring and motivating somebody. I go play ball, I'm inspiring and motivating somebody. I go wherever I go, I am inspiration and motivation. And so what I do is I take that inspiration and motivation and I do something with it that allows me to have what I need to have. And so I want everybody to, number one, the mindset is to first identify first, who are you in your being? And I want you to be that. And then once you become that, right? Like you don't do success. You become successful, right?
You chatting now.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't do abundance, you become abundant, right? And you don't do like millionaire stuff. You become a millionaire, right? Before I ever made millions of dollars, I was a millionaire. Nobody could tell me otherwise. Whether Chase Bank, Bank of America, Citibank, they just ain't know it.
Ditto.
But I became a millionaire prior to ever generating any millions of dollars. Because in my being, I believe that I am a millionaire. And so in that being, it taught, like, what do millionaires do then? If I'm a millionaire, if I became a millionaire, what do millionaires do? If I am successful, right? If I'm successful in my being, I don't need you, like, anything I start is successful before I started. I don't need the result to prove that I'm successful. I am successful. And so if I am successful and I'm starting a podcast, what do successful podcast people do? And I'm going to do that. And once I do that, I'm going to have, again, I'm going to have a successful podcast. If I am a 8-figure earner in my being, well, what is it that 8-figure earners do? I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to have a business that makes 8 figures, right? So that's the first thing. I want people to become. The second thing is the mindset is that I want you to change your relationship with money. A lot of people, again, we're taught that we need to work hard for money. But the truth is money should be working hard for us. Right? Yeah. We need to change that position. Instead of us being the employee, where money is telling us what to do, right? It's our employees. So it's our employer. And so we're the employee and it's telling us what to do. And we react based on what money says. You got to change that. Money works hard for me. I'm the employer. I'm going to tell money what to do. And so a lot of us who don't come from money, yeah, you're going to have to work in the beginning to make money. But that active work needs to turn into passive work. Yep. And that money that you make, don't just spend it on bills and just doing this roller coaster or this hamstring hamster wheel rat race of your life. What you need to do is take that money and buy income producing assets and let those assets now build and accumulate so they can take care of you. I'm such a big proponent on books, for instance. Like, in God's will, I'm going to write probably 40 books. Why? Because right now, if I decided to not do any work, I make enough passive income from my books that I can take care of all of my basic necessities.
Everything else is butter.
Everything else is butter. So guess what? That's all from, I did the work one time. So I'm breaking it down that way because I want people to understand what I mean by income producing assets, right? I did the work one time, I wrote the book, and then now the book is selling over and over and over again, and now I'm making income from it because the book is the asset.
Working smarter, not harder.
You know what I'm saying? And so that can happen with real estate, right? A lot of people want to buy their first home so they can live in. What if you bought an investment property first? Yep. And then you allow a tenant to pay you, or you did Airbnb or whatever, right? So there's so many ways that you could take the money that you're earning, put that into an asset that produces income, and that's how you switch your relationship with money.
Listen, I don't got nothing to say. I'm excited. I want to see this. Listen, I appreciate you, my brother.
Likewise,
Thank you
brother.
so much.
Yes, sir.
The culture needed this, whether they knew it or not.
Yes, sir.
Tell the people where they can find you, bro.
Man, go to my website, iamashcash.com. You can follow me on all social media platforms at iamashcash. And brother, I appreciate you, man. Just happy to be here. Thank you for all the work you're doing, and I'm glad. You know what I mean? We got the connect.
No, we had to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It was in the making. Y'all know me. I'm Dewan Mutungo and everything. And I see y'all on the next pod. Peace.